Sorry, a little bit hectic. I just got out of a debate class. In any case, Tashile, good evening or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for joining our continuing series of the group Tara practice. We've been doing this now since Sakadawa on Sunday evening, Indian time. So Sunday afternoon, I think some of you are in Europe. And anyway, for wherever you are tuning in from, welcome and thank you for your continued participation. So at the beginning, all of you should know by now that we are, trying to practice the Mahayana, the great vehicle. And so as Lama Tsongkhapa said, that it's important that even if the teaching or the particular practice is Mahayana, that our motivation has to also be Mahayana. So here, yes, we've been doing this practice because His Holiness the Dalai Lama has recommended the Green Tara practice to help quell the effects of the coronavirus pandemic. So we all have a sense of compassion for all the beings affected by the pandemic, all those who have fallen ill, and then the knock-on effects from the illness. It created a lot of economic problems in the world, also a lot of mental suffering. So a lot of people experiencing depression and anxiety, insomnia, all these things due to the increase in uncertainty due to these troubled times in the world. So although, yes, we're doing this practice on the advice of His Holiness the Dalai Lama to mitigate these effects, more broadly speaking, we have compassion for all the sentient beings in the entire universe. And so all the sentient beings are experiencing various kinds of suffering, not only due to illnesses and mental and physical suffering, but more broadly speaking, as long as sentient beings are bound in samsara, means bound in this cycle of uncontrolled rebirth due to our karma and our afflictions, then we're bound to experience one kind of suffering or unsatisfactory experience after another without break. And we and others have been experiencing this since the beginning of this time. And if we're not able to free ourselves from samsara, then we're going to experience this endlessly in the future without break. And so therefore, when we think of our own plight, then we should naturally ask, then why am I in this big mess of samsara and how can I get myself out? And then when we consider others who are experiencing these same kinds of suffering as we are, then we should also ask, well, how can we then free others to be liberated from all this ocean of samsaric suffering? And then we can understand, those of you who have studied a little bit more, and particularly the Four Noble Truths within Buddhism, when we understand that the cause of samsara, or the origins of suffering, are the karma and the afflictions, then the cessation of suffering, or the Third Noble Truth, then is the total abandonment, the eradication, as it were, of all of the afflictions as well as their seeds. And in order to attain the cessation of the causes of suffering, then we have to cultivate the path, the Fourth Noble Truth. The path leading to the cessation of suffering is this wisdom that realizes the ultimate nature of all phenomena. This is the only direct antidote to the root of samsara, which is the ignorant mind that grasps onto true and inherent existence. And so only by cultivating this antidote will we be able to be free of the root cause of samsara. So if we want to be free of the suffering of samsara, we need to cultivate this within our own mental continuum. if we want to truly help others be free of all their suffering, then we have to help others cultivate this wisdom within their own mental continuum. So now when we think of others and how we're going to be able to help lead and guide them to generate this wisdom realizing shunyata, or emptiness, the ultimate nature of reality, then we can consider in our current situation, we have very limited ability to do so. But if we were to be able to attain the state of complete enlightenment, characterized by the complete eradication of all faults of the mind and the complete development of all good qualities, then we'll have all the skills, all the knowledge, all the skillful means to guide sentient beings in the most effective way to generate this wisdom realizing emptiness within their own mental continuum, and gradually lead them to the state of liberation and enlightenment. So that's our real goal, okay? And so in order to achieve that state of enlightenment, and then we need to purify and pacify all the obscurations that prevent us from attaining enlightenment. And we need to accumulate all of the causes for enlightenment. And so now here, the practice of Tara is especially recommended to purify all the obstacles and bring quick realizations. So as many of you know, can you see? We have a Tara in, oh, no, it's the wrong side. Can you see the Tara behind me? So Tara normally is depicted with one leg stretched out. And so that shows, that she is very quick to act, to help sentient beings who call on her. And in particular, like lightning, right? She darts up and is very willing and able to help sentient beings that call on her. So this is one of the practices that is especially emphasized in these very troubling times in the world, these degenerated times. So now we're doing this practice, not just for ourselves, but for all the sentient beings in the entire universe. So please keep that in mind and adjust your motivation as such. All right. So now I will open up the green Tara sadhana, which if you haven't downloaded, it's okay. So now since we're doing this practice for all the sentient beings, we can visualize them in the space around us. And we can think that they are doing the practice with us, and we're leading them in the practice, as it were. And now we do this visualization. So think that above the crown of my head, I visualize a lotus and moon disk. Upon these is the great treasure of compassion, Arya Tara, mother of all enlightened beings, who is oneness with my kind root guru. My guru is seated in the full lotus position within a transparent bubble of rainbow-colored light. It is pink in complexion and wears robes and a pandit's hat. His right hand is at his heart in the gesture of teaching the Dharma, and holds a vajra and stem of a white lotus that blooms beside his right ear. His left hand rests on his hip. It holds a bell and the stem of another white lotus that blooms beside his left ear. At my guru's heart is Arya Tara in funeral aspect, green in color and seated in dancing posture within a rainbow bubble. Her left leg is bent up and her right leg outstretched. Her left hand is at her heart in the mudra, symbolizing the triple gem, and holding the stem of a blue Utpali flower. Her right hand, extended over her right knee, is in the mudra of granting sublime realizations. She is beautifully adorned with jeweled ornaments and scarves, and at her three places bears the syllable Om, Ah, and Hum. At her heart is a lotus and moon seat on which stands a radiant green syllable Tam. Rays of green light radiate in all directions from the Tam and invoke all the enlightened beings of the 10 directions. They're all absorbed into Aryatara and become one. So now just take a moment and really clarify that visualization to the best of your ability. So again, thinking that your guru is on the crown of your head. At his or her heart is Aryatara in the normal aspect. And then from Aryatara's heart, light rays radiate out, inviting all the Buddhas of the 10 directions that all dissolve into Aryatara's heart. So whether that visualization is clear or not, the more important thing to consider is just having this sense that your own guru is inseparable from Aryatara and all the other enlightened beings. But the deeper significance being that our guru is same in qualities as all the other enlightened beings, but is appearing in this form as the ordinary being that we can see, that we can interact with, that we can receive teachings and guidance from, because the Buddhas appear in whatever form is befitting the disciples' karma and dispositions. So because of our impure karma, we cannot see the Buddhas in more enlightened aspect. We can only see the Buddhas in the ordinary aspect that our Guru is now showing us. And so because of this, then we can think that our Guru is the manifestation of all the Buddha's enlightened wisdom appearing in this form to benefit us exactly according to our needs. And therefore, although the qualities of all the Buddhas are the same, then for us, the kindness that our own Guru is showing by appearing in this form that we can see and interact with, then our Guru is infinitely more kind than all the Buddhas that have existed in the past, that are existing in the present, and that will exist in the future. So now with that single-pointed devotion and admiration for our Guru, then we make the request, please remain above my head until I receive enlightenment. Okay, so now as refuge in bodhicitta, I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my merit from giving in the perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. By my merit from giving in the perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, Dharma, and Supreme Assembly. by my merit from giving and the other perfections, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. And so now we continue with the 7th prayer. So first limb of prostration. With my body, speech, and mind, I devoutly prostrate. And so now we'll do the 21 Tara praises. Again, I'll invite any of you who wish, you can stand up and do full-length prostrations. If not, you can just visualize that you're doing them. So, you can just hold your hands in the prostration mudra like this and visualize, that you are doing physical prostrations. And remember how we're visualizing all sentient beings in the space around us. They also are doing countless prostrations as we do this recitation. Dalai nejone tamye jangule jushin upamegi ulagen dusun sange chile ma joma koche sheksu so la dalame chebengi shabgi pemo la tete pompa kunle josema joma yumla chaselo. Onjetsun ma pama joma la chakselo chasa joma yoma pamo chemi keche lo danjama jiten sungu chuke shelgi kesa jawa leni juma chasa tenge dawa gundu kama gyani sekpe shelma kama tonta tsokpa namgi Ratu chewe yora barma, chase sengu chune keki, peme chane namba gema, chenpa sundur kadup shiwa, supa semten chulnima, chase deshin shekpe sudo, tae namba gewa chema, malu paru chenpa tope, gelwe segi shindu tema, Chasa tutara hun yege, dedan chota nam kakangma, jiten dumbo shaginende, lupa mepa gupa numa, chasa gyachin mela sangpa, luna nanso wanchu chema, chumbo rolan tisananda, nuchin sogi dune tema, chasa cheche chadan peki, Paro trupo ratu joma, yekun yekun shagi nende, mepa trukpa shindu barma, chase turi jikpa chenbo, dugi pao namba joma, chuke shelni tronya denze, trao tamse malu sema, chase konsho sunsun chage, summa truka namba gema, Malu choki kolu gempe, rangi yugi soknau trukma, chase ratu gawa jibe, yugi chanwa pema, shepa rashi tutarai, dudan jipen wandu zema, chase sashi kyonwe soknam, tamche gupa numanima, chone yoa yigi hungi, Pompa tamchen nampa joma, chase tawe dumbu gempa tamche shindu barma, repetana epa mele, takpa shindu urabzema, chase kelpe tame medar, barwe tenwe yananema, yekun kune korge, trae pungne nampa joma, Chase sashi ngela chagi, tilgi nungi shabgi dungma, chone chenze yigi hungi, rimba dumbo nani gema, chase dhamma gema shima, ngayin de chilnima, Soha Om Dayanda Dempe Dikpa Champo Jomanima Chase Kune Koragawe Dailui Nambagema Yigi Chube Ngangi Kube Rikpa Hunle Jomanima Chase Turi Shabni Dabe Hunge Nangi Sabunima Rira Mandara Dambigje Jiten Sunya Yoanima Chasalai Soinabe Rida Ta Chen Chananama Tara Niji Pegi Yege Dukna Malu Pani Selma Chasalai Soknam Gyalbo Ladamyam Chitema Kune Gocha Kawajiki Sudam Milangyam Pasema Chasani Mandawa Gebe Cheni Pola Rapsema Harani Jututarai Shindu Kakporine Selma Chase Deni Sunam Kebe Shivi Tundayanda Dema Dunda Rola Nuchin Sognam Jomba Ture Rachonima Sawe Ngaki Turbadidam Chasavani Nishu Sachi. Okay, and then we'll continue in the usual way with the abbreviated praise. So, someone who's been tuning in for these sessions, they wrote me and they said they've memorized this one. So it made me very happy. So we'll do this 21 times. Onjetsuma pama jomala chaselo chasa joma tare pamo tutarai jigunsama turin dunan tanjeterma soha yike cheraram du. Onjetsuma pama jomala chaselo chasa joma tare pamo tutarai jigunsama turin dunan tanjeterma soha yike cheraram du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chase Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunzama Tunin Dananda Jeden Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chase Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunzama Tunin Dananda Jeden Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. Onje Zuma Paman Jamala Chaselo Chasa Joma Tare Pamo Tutarai Jigunsama Tunin Danan Bhagadama Soa Yiki Cheraram Du. onje zuma pama jamala cha zero chacha jamadara bamo tudara jigzama tuni dana dajama so ikjarara onje zuma pama jamala cha zero chacha jamadara bamo tudara jigzama tuni dana dajama so ikjarara onje zuma pama jamala cha zero chacha jamadara bamo tudara jigzama tuni dana dajama so ikjarara onje zuma pama jamala cha zero chacha jamadara bamo tudara jigzama tuni dana dajama so ikjarara onje zuma pama jamala cha zero chacha jamadara bamo tudara jigzama tuni dana dajama so ikjarara onje zuma pama jamala cha zero chacha jamadara bamo tudara jigzama tuni dana dajama so ikjarara. All right. So next, we're back to the limb of offering. So we will again offer some incense on behalf of all sentient beings. So I see a few new faces. So recently, Lama Zopa Rinpoche has been recommending, when you offer incense, to offer 2 sticks. And well, there's different explanations, but one explanation is it represents the Dharmakaya and the Rupakaya. So the form body of the Buddha and the Dharmakaya, or the wisdom body of the Buddha. So now we can think that we're offering this incense on behalf of all sentient beings. And so I offer all offerings, both real and imagined. So not just this incense and these water bowls, we have a light here, but all the other offerings laid out in the various centers, all the various students' homes. And then in Koban Monastery, I see Thupten Namgyal working very hard. He's offering the water bowls there at Rinpoche's room at Koban Monastery. So thank you to the Namgyal for that. And then at the various other, Rinpoche's house in Aptos, Rinpoche's house in Washington State. And then more generally speaking, all the beautiful unknown things in the whole universe. And then the imagined offerings, so you can imagine the entire universe filled with, countless. Well, here, really our imagination is the limit. So you can imagine, on every atom is, a wish-granting jewel. So the whole universe filled with wish-granting jewels. We can also imagine that we're offering the most sublime medicine, the Aurora plant, which is, what Medicine Buddha holds in his hand. And then everything that is pleasing and beneficial, particularly to offer light, is good to develop wisdom. So on every atom, a light as bright as, a million suns, dispelling the darkness of ignorance. So anyway, all these offerings we visualize, we offer many times on behalf of all sentient beings to all the 10 directions, Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha, statues, sacred scriptures, all of which are inseparable from our own Guru. Okay, and then limb of confession. So all sins and offenses and mass from beginning of this time I confess. So here we can think of all those negative actions that we've done, not in just this life, but some, beginningless samsara rebirth, and especially the broken vows, especially the negativities related with our parents, with our teachers, with our gurus. Then remembering that even these previously accumulated negative karma, no matter how heavy and how much we've accumulated, then they too are empty of inherent existence. So they too are dependent on other factors. And therefore, since they depend on other factors, they can be purified before they ripen as suffering in our own mental continuum. And we ourselves also are empty of inherent existence. So no matter what we might have done in the past, we are not intrinsically bad people. Those afflictions that led us to commit these negativities, they're not intrinsically part of the mind. They're impermanent in nature, so we can change. We can't go back and change the past, but from now on, we can try harder. We can behave differently. We can live our lives in a new way. So we also make a commitment to mostly ourselves, but also to our guru, that we're going to try to refrain from these kinds of negative actions again in the future. And even if it's just for a day, an hour, a few minutes, that's a good start. And then we can build momentum and slowly be able to eliminate all of these negativities. Now, next, the limb of rejoicing. So here, I rejoice in all the virtuous actions of holy and ordinary beings. So here again, we stop to meditate, thinking of how virtuous action is the cause for every kind of happiness, success, and the realizations, even the realizations of liberation and enlightenment, depend on accumulating the causes. So then when we hear about or think of ourselves or others having done these virtuous actions, then it should make us very happy. So then just thinking and repeating, how wonderful, how wonderful. When we think about all the virtue that we've created in the past, then when we think about others, and just something new came to my mind, we can think, all those sentient beings, all those beings who have even recited one Tara mantra in the past, Tara praises, how amazing. All those who have done retreat on Tara. So definitely, millions and millions of Taras being recited. And then when we think in other world systems, so amazing that beings are engaging in this very powerful practice. We think of the great masters, Atisha, Arya Nagarjuna, all the great masters of the past who have relied on Tara and were able to perform such extensive benefit and do such extensive deeds for sentient beings. Think about how wonderful that is as well. And then, of course, rejoicing in all of the Buddhas who attained the ultimate Tara. Ultimate Tara being the wisdom, the Dharmakaya, wisdom directly realizing emptiness in all phenomena simultaneously. That one is the ultimate meaning of what Tara is. Tara, the liberator. What is the one that actually liberates, but is wisdom realizing emptiness? So all the Buddhas then have also attained the ultimate Tara. So we can think of all the countless Buddhas, all the arduous practice they did to attain that state. And because they're able to do that, then they're continually and spontaneously offering such tremendous benefit to all the sentient beings. So now for us, when we think, oh, how wonderful that is, that also sets up some nice dependent arising that, we will become like that, and we will be able to traverse the path just like all the Buddhas of the past have done, and also be able to one day offer the most extensive benefit to sentient beings, just like all the Buddhas are doing now. Okay, so now how are we able to do that? Well, we need the continued guidance from our gurus and the Buddhas. So now that brings us into the next limb. O gurus and Buddhas, please remain until samsara ends. We visualize we offer a double-crossed Vajra throne to our guru and all the Buddhas, and not just one, but many times. And our guru, the Buddhas, accept our request. And not just that they remain, but we also need their guidance. So we also request and turn the wheel of Dharma for sentient beings. Here we visualize offering a Dharma chakra, not just one, but many. And the Guru, the Buddhas, accept our request to continue to guide us and to teach us. And then the limb of dedication, all my virtues and those of all others I dedicate to the great enlightenment. So I just looked at the clock, and that's why I'm laughing. Anyway, this meditation is very good. So normally we can breeze through the 7-limb prayer and just, not meditate, and then, whether it has, of course, it has some benefit, but the real point is to, meditate and really cultivate these different kinds of minds for each of the 7 limbs. Then we'll really reap some benefits. Okay. So now mandala offering. This ground unknown to perfume, strewn flowers adorned with Mount Meru, 4 continents, sun and the moon. I imagine this is a Buddha field and offer it. May all living beings enjoy this pure land. The objects of my attachment, aversion, and ignorance, friends, enemies, and strangers, and my body, wealth, and enjoyments, without any sense of loss or for this collection, please accept it with pleasure and bless me with freedom from the 3 poisons. Now, I pause here and clarify the visualization, and especially think that I'm not just offering one mandala, but again, one mandala, which is a completely pure land, a Buddha field, right? One for every atom in the entire universe. Okay, so on every atom, it's like there's a whole, perfectly pure Buddha field universe, and that fills the entire universe. then you can also think that, even this is empty of inherent existence. And that's what's known as the suchness mandala. Idam guru rana mandala kam niratayami. All right, so now we request, please bless me to purify all obscurations of my body so it will become one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra body. Guru accepts our request. Then white light emanates from the Om at Aryatara's brow and curves in an arc to enter my brow. My body is purified completely of all obscurations and becomes one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra body. Please bless me to purify all obscurations of my speech, so it will become one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra speech. The Guru accepts our request. Then visualize that red light emanates from the Ah at Aryatara's throat and curves in an arc to enter my throat. My speech is completely purified of all obscurations and becomes one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra speech. Next, we request, please bless me to purify all obscurations of my mind, so that it will become one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra mind. The Guru accepts our request. Then blue light emanates from the Hum at Aryatara's heart and curves in an arc to enter my heart. My mind is purified of all obscurations and becomes one in essence with Guru Tara's holy Vajra mind. Please bless me to purify all delusions and subtle obscurations to omniscience, so that my body, speech, and mind will become one with Guru Tara's holy body, speech, and mind. The Guru accepts our request. Now 3 colored beams emanate simultaneously from the Om, Ah, and Hum syllables, curving in an arc and entering my 3 places, completely purifying all my delusions and subtle obscurations to omniscience. My body, speech, and mind become one in essence with Guru Tara's holy body, holy speech, and holy mind. My root Guru dissolves into Aryatara, who melts into green light, which flows into me. Instantly, my wrong conception that I and all other phenomena are self-existent, together with my dualistic mind and its views, disappear, becoming completely empty. Not even a trace of them remains. I concentrate one-pointedly in this empty state. Okay, so now here, as many of you know, we pause to meditate to the best of our ability on the meaning of emptiness. So here, as it says, right, phenomena are not self-existent. That means they're empty of self-existence. So you might know some of the synonyms of this. To be self-existent means to exist from the object's own side, to exist independently, inherently, intrinsically. So this type of existence is actually totally impossible. Okay? So all phenomena lack that type of existence. Yet, when phenomena appear to our sense consciousnesses, then they appear to have that mode of existence. Yet, the appearance does not accord with reality, and therefore you'll see in the teachings that phenomena are like illusions, like mirage, like a dream, and so forth. So now all of these, mistaken appearances, all of these phenomena that appear to be truly existent, we sort of imagine that, the rug is pulled out from under them, as it were. And so all of these mistaken appearances is as if they disappear. So now what is left? What is left is this just mere lack of inherent existence. But your mind that realizes the complete lack of inherent existence now is one with Aryatara's omniscient mind, and therefore it experiences great bliss. So those of you who have had initiation, the necessary initiation before, you can think that now this mind of yours that's inseparable from Aryatara's mind, that itself arises now in the form, in the aspect of Aryatara. Otherwise, if you don't have the necessary initiation, you can visualize that Aryatara is in the space in front. Out of that emptiness, my wisdom manifests instantly as Aryatara's holy body seated on a lotus and moon cushion. And my heart is another lotus and moon upon which in the center stands a syllable Tam, surrounded in a clockwise direction by the syllables of the mantra Om Tari Tari Turi Soha. The Tam and the mantra are manifestations of Guru Tara's holy mind, with which my mind is totally united. Green light radiates from all the letters, spreading in every direction. It purifies the negative karmas, gross delusions, and subtle obscurations to omniscience of all sinning beings who become Tara. So you'll know that this and the next two paragraphs are visualizations, and we will continue with those visualizations as we recite the mantra Om Tari Tari Turi Soha. Wow. So we're going to go a little bit over time, okay? Bonus time. So, yeah, if you have to go, we still have 10 more minutes on the schedule. But anyway, we're going to go over. So try to cycle through these three visualizations as you recite the mantra. And yeah, we'll do it for 6 minutes. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha, Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha, Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tu Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tare Ture Soha Om Tare. Om Tare Tare Ture Soha Om Tare Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tare Ture Soha. Om Tare Tare Ture Soha. So now just rest for a moment in the awareness that due to having recited the mantra, due to the purifying light rays from Aryatara and the rest of the Buddhas, that all the sentient beings are now completely purified of all obscurations and have attained the state of enlightenment in the aspect of Aryatara. And also that now your mind has all of the enlightened qualities of the omniscient mind of the Buddhas. Okay. Now dedication, may quickly become Guru Aryatara, Prabhupada, and lead each and every sentient being into her enlightened state because of these merits. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not yet arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more. Okay. So now we'll do like we normally do. Recite the King of Prayers. Yes? Can you see? The screen sharing is still working? Okay, great. So sorry. little bit of advertising. So I think many of you have been following Lama Zopa Rinpoche. He's been giving teachings from Kopan. And the most recent video that came out, he was thanking everyone, especially the Sangha who have been participating in the Tangtung Gyalpo Prayer-a-thon session, which has been going on every Saturday now for over a year. So he gave the oral transmission of a few prayers and practices, and he gave the oral transmission of this King of Prayers as well. So especially if Lama Zopa Rinpoche is one of your gurus, it's very good to listen to that teaching and receive the oral transmission. But anyway, as many of you know, this prayer is done to help sentient beings who have recently died. But not only that, it's also to help ourselves. So Rinpoche was emphasizing that, as it says toward the end of this prayer, that when the moment of my death arrives, may I be guided by the Amitabha to Amitabha Buddha Pure Land. So Rinpoche said, one of the benefits of reciting this every day is one can then be born quite easily in the Sukhavati Pure Land, the Pure Land of Amitabha Buddha. Okay. Anyway, bit of advertising. So now we're doing this for all the sentient beings, especially those who have recently died. I bow down to the youthful Arya Manjushri. Be lines among humans, gone to freedom in the present, past, and future, in the worlds of 10 directions. To all of you with body, speech, and sincere mind, I bow down. With the energy of aspiration for the Bodhisattva way, with a sense of deep respect, and with many bodies as atoms of the world, to all the Buddhas visualized as real, I bow down. On every atom are Buddhas, numbers as atoms, each must hold to Bodhisattvas, and I'm confident the sphere of all phenomena is entirely filled with Buddhas in this way. With infinite oceans of praise for you and oceans of sound from the aspects of my voice, I sing the breathtaking excellence of the Buddhas and celebrate all you want to bliss. Beautiful flowers, regal garments, sweet music, scented oils and parasols, sparkling lights and sublime incense, I offer to you, victorious ones. Fine dress and fragrant perfumes, sandalwood powder, he vows Mount Meru, all wondrous offerings in spectacular array, I offer to you, victorious ones. With transcendent offerings, spacious and vast, with profound admiration for all the Buddhas, with strength of conviction in the Bodhisattva way, I offer and bow down to all victorious ones. Every harmful action I have done, with my body, speech, and mind overwhelmed by attachment, anger, and confusion, all these I openly lay bare before you. I lift up my heart and rejoice in all positive potential of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas in 10 directions, of solitary realizers here still training and those beyond, and all ordinary beings. You who are the bright lights of the worlds of 10 directions, who have attained a Buddha's omniscience to the stages of awakening, all you who are my guides, please turn the supreme wheel of Dharma. With palms together, I earnestly request, you who may actualize parinirvana, please stay with us for eons, endless atoms of the world, for the happiness and well-being of all wanderers in samsara. Whatever slight positive potential I may have created, by paying homage, offering and acknowledging my faults, rejoicing and requesting the Buddhas stay and teach, I now dedicate all this for full awakening. May you Buddhas now living in the worlds of 10 directions and all you gone to freedom in the past, accept my offerings. May those not yet arisen quickly perfect their minds, awakenings, fully enlightened ones. May all worlds in 10 directions be entirely pure and vast. May they be filled with bodhisattvas surrounding Buddhas gathered beneath the Bodhi tree. May as many beings as exist in 10 directions be all as well and happy. May all samsaric beings live in accord with the Dharma, and may their every Dharma wish be fulfilled. Remember my past lives and all varieties of existence, may I practice Bodhisattva way, and thus in each cycle of death, migration, and birth, may I always abandon the householder's life. Then, following in the footsteps of all the Buddhas and perfecting the practice of the Bodhisattva, may I always act without error or compromise with ethical discipline, faultless and pure. May I teach Dharma in the language of the gods, in every language of spirits and nagas, of humans and of demons, and in the voice of every form of being. May I be gentle-minded, cultivating 6 paramitas and never forget bodhicitta. May I completely cleanse without omission every negativity and all that obscures this awakening mind. May I traverse all my lives in this world free of karma, afflictions, and interfering forces, just as the lotus blossom is undisturbed by the water's wave, just as sun and moon move unhindered through the sky. May I ease suffering in the lower realms in the many directions, dimensions of the universe. May I guide all wanderers in samsara to the pure bliss of awakening and be of worldly benefit to them as well. May I practice constantly for eons to come, perfecting the activities of awakening, acting in harmony with the varied dispositions of beings, showing the ways of Bodhisattva. May I always have the friendship of those whose path is like mine, with body, words, and also mind. May we practice together the same aspirations and activities. May I always meet a spiritual mentor and never displease that excellent friend who deeply wishes to help me and expertly teaches the Bodhisattva way. May I always directly see the Buddhas, masters encircled by Bodhisattvas, and without pause or discouragement for eons to come, may I make extensive offerings to them. May I hold within me the Buddha's genuine Dharma, illuminate everyone the teachings that awaken, embody the realizations of the Bodhisattva, and practice ardently in all future eons. While circling through all states of existence, may I become an endless treasure of good qualities, skillful means, wisdom, samadhi, and liberating stabilizations, gathering luminous, pristine wisdom and positive potential. On one atom I shall see Buddha fields numbered as atoms, inconceivable Buddhas among Bodhisattvas in every field, practicing the activities of awakening. Perceiving this in all directions, I dive into an ocean of Buddha fields, each an ocean of 3 times Buddhas in the space of a wisp of a hair. So I too will practice for an ocean of eons. Thus, I'm continually immersed in the speech of the Buddhas, expression that reveals an ocean of qualities in one word, the completely pure eloquence of all the Buddhas, communication suited to the very tendencies of beings. With strength of understanding, I plunge into the infinite enlightened speech of the Dharma of all Buddhism, 3 times gone to freedom, who continue to turn the wheel of Dharma methods. I shall experience in one moment such vast activity of all future eons, and I'll enter into all eons of 3 times in but a fraction of a second. In one instant, I shall see all those awakened beings, past, present, and future, lying among humans, and with the power of illusion like stabilization, I will constantly engage in their inconceivable activity. I shall manifest upon one single atom the array of pure lands, present, past, and future. Likewise, I shall enter the array of pure Buddha fields in every direction without exception. I shall enter the very presence of all my guides, those lights of the sword will yet to appear, those sequentially turning the wheels of complete awakening, those who reveal nirvana, final perfect peace. May I achieve the power of swift magical emanation, the power to lead to the great vehicle to every approach, the power of all artificial activity, the power of love pervading all realms, the power of all surpassing positive potential, the power of supreme knowledge unobstructed by discrimination. And through the powers of wisdom, skillful means, and samadhi, may I achieve the perfect power of awakening, purifying the power of all contaminated actions, crushing the power of disturbing emotions at their root, diffusing the power of interfering forces. I shall perfect the power of the Bodhisattva practice. May I purify an ocean of worlds. May I free an ocean of beings. May I clearly see an ocean of Dharma. May I realize an ocean of pristine wisdom. May I purify an ocean of activities. May I fill an ocean of aspirations. May I make offerings to an ocean of Buddhas. May I practice without discouragement for an ocean of eons. To awaken fully through this Bodhisattva way, I shall fulfill without exception all the diverse aspirations of the awakening practice of all Buddhas gone to freedom in 3 times everywhere. In order to practice exactly as the wise one called Samantabhadra, all-embracing good, the other brother of the sons and daughters of the Buddhas, I completely dedicate all this goodness. Likewise, may I dedicate just as skillful Samantabhadra with pure body, speech, and mind, pure actions, and pure Buddha fields. I shall give rise to the aspirations of my Manjushri for this Bodhisattva practice of all-embracing good, to perfect these practices without discouragement or pause in all future eons. May my pure activities be endless, my good qualities boundless, and through embodying an immeasurable activity, may I actualize infinite emanations. Limitless is the endless space, likewise limitless are living beings, thus limitless are karma and afflictions. May my aspirations reach be limitless as well. One may offer to the Buddhas all wealth and adornments of infinite worlds in 10 directions, and one may offer during eons numberless as atoms of the world, even the greatest happiness of gods and humans. Whoever hears this extraordinary aspiration and long for highest awakening gives rise to faith just once, creates far more precious positive potential. Those who make this heartfelt aspiration for the Bodhisattva way will be free of all low rebirths, free of harmful companions, and will quickly see Amitabha infinite light. And even in this very human life, they will be nourished by happiness and all conducive circumstances. Without waiting long, they'll become like Samantabhadra himself. Those who give voice to this extraordinary aspiration will quickly and completely purify the 5 boundless harmful actions created under the power of ignorance. But blessed with supreme knowledge, excellent body, family attributes, and appearance, they will be invisible to vast interfering forces and misleading teachers, and all 3 worlds will make offerings. Going quickly to the noble Bodhi tree and sitting there to benefit sending beings, subduing all interfering forces, they will fully awaken and turn the great wheel of Dharma. Have no doubt that complete awakening is the fully ripened result, comprehended only by a Buddha, of holding in mind by teaching, reading, and reciting this aspiration in the Bodhisattva practice. In order to train just like the hero Manjushri who knows reality as is, and just like Samadhi as well, I completely dedicate all this goodness just as they did. With that dedication, which praise is the greatest by all, the Buddha's gone to freedom in 3 times. I too dedicate all my recent goodness for the attainments of the Bodhisattva practice. When the moment of my death arrives, by eliminating all obscurations and directly perceiving Amitabha, may I go immediately to Sukhavati, pure land of great joy. Having gone to Sukhavati, may I actualize the meaning of these aspirations, fulfilling them all without exception for the benefit of beings for as long as this world endures. Born from an extremely beautiful superlative lotus in this joyful land, the Buddha's magnificent mandala, may I receive a prediction of my awakening directly from the Buddha Amitabha. Having received a prediction there, may I create vast benefit for beings throughout the 10 directions with 1 billion emanations by the power of wisdom. Through even the small virtue I've accumulated by offering this prayer of the Bodhisattva practice, may all the positive aspirations of beings be fulfilled in an instant. Through creating limitless positive potential by dedicating this prayer of Samadhi deeds, may all beings drown in a torrent of suffering enter the presence of Amitabha. Through this king of aspirations, which is the greatest of the sublime, helping infinite wanderers in samsara, through the accomplishment of the scripture dazzling with Samadhi practice, may suffering realms be utterly empty of all beings. Okay, and we'll do 2 more prayers. So for the long life of the Son of Dalai, the incomparably kind Supreme Tenzin Gyatso, the wish-granting, wish-fulfilling jewel, source of every single benefit and happiness in this world. May you have a long life and all your holy wishes be spontaneously fulfilled. Then for Lama Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold the subduers of moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplish magnificent prayers honoring the 3 sublime ones, Savior and myself and others, your disciples. Please, please, live long. Okay, and we have a few specific dedications that have been submitted to Institute. So we also dedicate for all of the long and healthy lives of all the spiritual friends, also including Ganin Tripa, Ganin Tri Rinpoche, Sarkong Shense Rinpoche, Ken Rinpoche, Geshe Chunin, Constantine Rinpoche, as well as the long and healthy lives of all the Dharma teachers, Geshe Tunle, Geshe Sherab, Geshe Tenzin Doje, Geshe Dorda Ramdul, Geshe Tenzin Zupa, Venerable Sangha Khandro, Venerable Olivier Rossi, Venerable Tenzin Nanjong, Venerable Rubina Curtin, Venerable Tenzin Lexville, Venerable Tenzin Gache, and Venerable Tuten Khandro. Also, for all the kind benefactors of Root Institute and all their Dharma wishes to be fulfilled instantly, as well as quick enlightenment. And then we have a dedication for all the beings who are sick, including the monks of Sangpa Kamsen, who are COVID positive, then also for Susan, Jaya Lakshmi, and Kalyani Yajnik. And then all the beings who recently died. In particular, Hansaben, contractor, and Opal. Not sure if contractor is part of his name or if he is a contractor.
It is a Parsi name. It is a name.
Oh, okay. Okay, nice. Yes. So Hansaben, contractor, Opal, all the beings who are in the bardo right now, may they instantly be born in the pure land of the Buddha where they can achieve enlightenment. Or get a perfect human rebirth, attain a relationship with the Mahayana Guru and the Mahayana teachings, and attain enlightenment in their next life. Okay, and then we also dedicate for all the Dharma projects, particularly all the FPNT projects in India, particularly Root Institute, and yeah, can also dedicate, for the instant pacification of all of the natural disasters going on. So many of you know there are many fires out of control in the western part of the US, also in Greece, also in Turkey, and then more generally, wherever there might be dangers due to fire, water. So there's also, many floods going on. And then, all the various environmental degradation that's happening, and all of these things be instantly pacified. Okay, so that's it. Thank all of you for joining us, and thank you for going over time. But yeah, what else are you going to do, right?
Thank you, Venerable.